So writing functions in vertex form, okay? If it's given to us in standard form, we need to know how to write it in vertex form. So looking at this is vertex form right here. Okay, they're giving us vertex form right here. And that's what we're trying to get our answer to when it's written in standard form. So you have A and you have H and K, which H and K is your vertex. So I'm going to go ahead and write that is vertex. That's my vertex of my graph. All right, to rewrite a quadratic function from standard form to vertex form, what are we going to do? You have to use complete the square and then factor. So those are the key things. You must complete the square. I don't know why it's moving. Then factor it. Okay, that's the most important thing. Complete the square and then factor. Please pay attention to these. It's not hard. It's pretty just basic math work, but I want to say it's less steps than before. Okay, so follow along, and it's different if you have a number in front of your x squared than if it's just x squared by itself. So make sure when you guys are solving these examples, you guys are paying attention to how it's being solved. I'm going to do all the examples on the left. Okay, so that's where we're going. We're not going to graph it right now, or we'll just go ahead and graph it and see what it looks like. So looking at this example, this is what they're giving me, x squared plus 6x plus 4. So looking at it, I'm still going to have my ABC. So 1 is my A, 6 is my B, and 4 is my C. And I'm still using that. So how are we setting up completing the square? Completing the square, when we factored it, we had those two blanks. I'm still using the two blanks, but I'm using them a little different. So it's going to be written as x squared plus 6x plus blank plus 4 minus blank. I'm not moving anything to any side of my equal signs. All I'm doing is adding my plus and minus, and yes, it has to be plus first, then minus at the end. Okay, so highlighting what you're adding plus blank and then minus blank. Please make sure again it's plus first, then minus. Okay, so what am I doing next? Like completing the square when we factored, we're going to be using a specific formula to solve for those blanks. And what is it? It's going to be b over 2 squared. Okay, so again, we labeled, we know what our b is. Our b is going to be 6 over 2 squared, which is going to give me 3 squared, and that's going to give me 9. Okay. Next, complete the square. That's what I did. Now I have to go ahead and factor. What can I factor? What am I going to do next? Please pay attention to this part. I can factor this. So like completing the square, I have to factor this. How can I factor this? Okay, how can I factor this? I'm going to square root my last number, which is my 9. Okay, factoring this, x squared plus 6x plus 9 is going to be x plus 3. Where am I getting that 3 from? I square rooted by 9, and that gave me my 3. Think about it. 3 plus 3 gives me 6. 3 times 3 gives me 9. So that's going to be my factored form. And then I have to solve what's left over. If you're unsure, okay, let's say I have a larger number and I don't know how I'm getting my square root, you could always look at it. What am I squaring? 3, so I know my square root of 9 is going to be 3. So think of it backwards, okay? All right, once I did that, I'm not done. My next step is to now solve what I have left over. So looking at it, what's 4 minus 9? It's going to give me negative 5. And I'm done. Look at it. It's already in vertex form. Keep in mind this was standard form. And this is my vertex form. Okay, and I'm done. So this would be my answer in vertex form. Right here. This entire thing. And now I'm able to answer my questions. What's my A? My A is going to be 1, because remember A is always in front. And then my H is going to be negative 3. And my K is negative 5. So some people are asking, why is it negative 3? Remember the rule for vertex is x minus h squared plus k. And in order for me to make this a minus, it's going to be x minus negative 3. So if I'm looking at it this way, I know my h is going to be a negative 3, and then you're just taking your k value, which is negative 5. All right, going to the next question, the one right underneath it. Remember, I'm doing the left column. It says, write each function in vertex form, and name the values of A and the vertex. And I guess we could name the axis of symmetry just because it's pretty easy. So we're still doing the same thing again. Question on your test may say direction-wise, write in vertex form using completing the square. So you have to make sure you're using that format. If you're not, again, you're not going to get credit for the question. So I'm going to go ahead and write it with my blanks. Remember, it's plus, minus. Plus has to go first, minus has to go last. So I'm going to have x squared plus 8x plus blank, keeping that minus 3 minus blank. So it's going to look something like this. Now, how do I find what goes in my blanks? I'm using my b over 2 squared. So looking at it, what's my b? It's going to be 8 over 2. Don't forget to square it. 8 over 2 is 4. 4 squared gives me 16. So that's what I'm putting in my blanks. Now I have to go ahead and factor what I can. Putting these in parentheses, I can go ahead and factor that, okay? Factoring it, square rooting my 16, I'm gonna end up with x plus 4 squared. Okay, remember this sign is telling me what goes inside my parentheses, so it's a plus sign. I got that, and then I'm solving what's left over. So now this is what's going to go at the back end. Negative 3 minus 16 is going to give me negative 19, and I'm done. Now it's in vertex form. Super easy, that's it. It's a lot faster than what we did yesterday. Okay, this is vertex form. And now I'm going to go ahead and find my A and my vertex. Keep in mind, you can also f of x equals, make sure you write that as well. F of x equals everything there. So yes, go ahead and write f of x, please. We are still dealing with functions, so make sure you have that f of x equals there. And yeah, maybe some points off. So going ahead and finding my A. Don't forget, your A is what goes in front. Okay, your A is what goes in front. So if I'm looking at this question, what's in front of my parentheses? May look like I don't have anything, but I do. I'm going to go ahead and write it in green. A is going to be 1. Okay, there's always that 1 right there. And then my vertex is H and K. So if you know the rule for vertex form, then you're going to know it's negative 4, comma, negative 19. And just so we know, because you eventually have to answer this one as well, what is my axis of symmetry? Does anybody remember what my axis of symmetry would be? Okay, it's not just negative 4, It's going to be x equals -4. Where am I getting that -4 from? You're always taking that x value of your vertex. Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do the next example. Try and finish it before I do. Going ahead and writing it out, I'm going to have x squared minus 12x plus blank plus 40 minus blank. Okay, finding what goes inside those blanks, I'm taking b, which in this case b is -12. So I have -12 divided by 2 squared. I'm going to get -6 squared, which is 36, and that's what I'm filling inside my blanks. Okay, factoring. Okay, so looking at this, x squared minus 12x plus 36, factoring it. This is a perfect square. So that means I'm square rooting my 36. If you don't remember it off the top of your head, you know 6 squared is 36. So the square root of 36 is 6. You can think of it as working backwards. So now I'm going to have x minus, why is it minus? Because there's a minus sign here. X minus 6 squared, and then doing the back ends. Solving what's right here. 40 minus 36. That's going to end up giving me plus 4. And I'm done. All I have to do is write that f of x equals. This is my vertex form. And then plugging in what I have to for the rest of my answer, or taking out, let me say. So A is going to be 1, because remember there's a 1 in front. My vertex in this case is going to be 6, comma, 4. Okay, my H is 6, and 4 is my K. And let's just go ahead and find what is my axis of symmetry. X equals 6. And we can also, just looking at this, we can find our y-intercept. What's my y-intercept? That means I'm solving for y. So I have to change x to 0. And what's my y-intercept? Does anybody remember? It's going to be the c value. So right here, 40, because keep in mind, I mean, if you need to write it out, you can write it out. But for your y-intercept, it's going to be 0 squared minus 12 times 0 plus 40. And these are just going to cancel out, and you're going to have 40 left over. Okay, so that's how you're getting that 40. All right, go to the next page. Go ahead and go to the one on the left. Go ahead and try and solve that one on your own. All right, let's go ahead and solve this one. So writing it out, I'm going to have x squared. Let me zoom in a little. X squared plus 4x plus blank plus 2 minus blank. Okay, going ahead and solving for my blanks. I'm going to have 4 over 2 squared, which is 2 squared, which is going to give me 4. And that's what I'm plugging into both. Okay, solving, factoring what I can. I'm going to get x plus 2 squared. Remember, you're going to square root that 4. I'm just going to take the number right there. And then doing what's left over here in orange, I'm going to end up with minus 2. Don't forget to add that f of x equals, and this is in vertex form. Okay, I believe we all got there for those of you that finished it. Good job. All right, now going ahead and filling in my A. It's always what's in front of those parentheses, which in this case is a 1. And then my vertex, what's my vertex? Good, it's going to be a -2, comma, -2, okay? Negative 2, negative 2. Let's just see what else we can answer. What's my axis of symmetry? X equals negative 2. And then I believe we can also answer our y-intercept. So looking back, what's my y-intercept? Coordinate pairs. I'm going to have 0. And I'm going to have a number for y. What's that number? 2. Okay, remember it's that C value right here. All right, just again, we're going to go ahead and it's going to be a little bit of a harder question. The only difference is there's one more extra step that we're going to do. And this is only for questions where it has a number in front of the x squared. Remember, I'm trying to get x squared by itself. So please pay attention to this way. Again, it's still easy. You guys just have to make sure you're following the correct steps. So I have to get x squared by itself. So looking at this, can I factor anything? Not as a whole, but I know I can go ahead and factor this right here. And I'm only taking the number, I'm not taking the x. Why? Because I want x squared left over so I can factor my trinomial. So looking at it, I'm going to take a 2 out. I'm factoring out a 2 only. So now I'm going to have x squared plus 6x, and then I still have that minus 5. Forgot that parentheses. Okay, so that's really pretty easy. We can do that. Just factor out whatever's in front of that x. Okay, so we did that. Pretty easy, not too hard. Because again, I'm trying to get that x squared. Now I'm still going to add my blanks. I'm still adding my blanks. So my next step is I'm going to have 2, still keeping that 2 outside the parentheses. X squared plus 6x plus blank minus 5 minus, okay, this is the tricky part, don't get this confused. I'm taking this 2 and I have to multiply it times whatever goes inside my blank. Okay, so that's the new part. After I factored out my 2, I need to keep everything the same. I need to keep everything equal. So if I'm factoring out a 2, that means keep in mind I'm multiplying all of this by 2. I still have to multiply this by 2 as well. And we're going to do some more practice questions, but that's really the only difference. We're still going to get to the same answer after that. So I'm still looking for that b. So, or I'm still using my b to plug into my blanks. So I'm going to have 6 over 2, and don't forget you are squaring it. So I'm going to have 3 squared, which is 9. So 9's going to go here and here. Okay, 9's going to go in both places. Now pay attention how I'm solving the next part. It's still doable. Again, nothing too hard. So keep going. I'm going to go ahead and just bring it down. Still doing the same thing. Now I'm going to, let me grab a different color. I'll still use the blue. Now, like I did before, factor what's inside. That means I'm going to square root that 9. So I'm still keeping my 2. Okay, this is going to go down here now. And I'm going to have x plus 3 squared. Okay, looks the same still. Looks the same. Now all I have to do is solve what's over here. So I'm going to have negative 5 minus 18. Solving this, negative 5 minus 18 is going to give me negative 23. So I'm going to have f of x equals 2 times x plus 3 squared minus 23, and that's in vertex form.
Do I have to put f of x?
I would, yes. Okay. Again, a few different steps, but still the same thing. All right, so just showing you what's different, just going over it. If there's a number in front of that x squared, you have to factor out that number. And that number is super important. That number is what's being multiplied by that minus blank. Okay, so don't forget that. That's the number that's multiplying over here, and then you're just solving the rest the same. Now look at my answer. My answer is going to change. A is not 1 anymore. What is A? A is now 2. That's how you're taking that A out. So A is 2. What's my vertex? It's going to be -3, -23. And then I could still find everything else. What's my axis of symmetry?
X equals negative.
Good. Don't forget, x equals -3. Can't just be -3, it's x equals. And then looking back at what we had first in standard form, what's my y-intercept?
-5.
Okay, remember it has to be an ordered pair.
0,
So it's 0, -5. And then you'd have to solve for your x-intercept. So take it in, look at it. We're going to do another example so you could see it. All right, vertex really quick. I'm going to go over it. You have to remember what vertex is. So what vertex was f of x equals a times x minus h squared plus k. So the rule is x minus h. So I need to think about it and think to myself, okay, how can I change this to make it x minus h? I know if I have x minus -3, it's also x plus 3. So that's where I'm getting that -3 from. Do you see it? Okay. All right, let's go ahead and go to the next question. This is the last one. All right. So again, it has a number in front of my x squared. What am I going to factor out? A -3, not just a 3, because if I left the negative, it's going to be -x squared. I have to get x squared by itself. So I'm going to factor out a -3. Keep in mind, I can factor it out right here. So let me grab a different color. Right here. Factoring out a -3. I'm going to have -3, then I'm going to have x squared minus 10x, and then bringing that plus 20 down. I mean, you don't have to, expand it this way. You could put those blanks in there if you feel comfortable putting the blanks in there, but I'm just showing you in steps. All right, it is a -10 because think about it. If I factor out a -3, it's going to be -10. So if I multiply -3 times -10, that's going to give me a positive 30. Negative times negative is positive. So always go back and check your work. Okay, always look at it that way. If I were to distribute this, would these two multiplied give me that positive 30? Okay, so negative times negative is positive. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and add my blanks. Again, if you feel comfortable adding your blanks at that next step, for all means add the blanks. But I'm going to go ahead and add my blanks now. I have that -30 or -3. X squared minus 10x plus blank plus 20 minus what? -3 blank. Remember, good. You have to multiply that -3 times that blank. So now I'm going to go ahead and solve for what my blank is. All right, taking my b, which in this case is my 10, -10. Over 2 squared. I'm going to get -5 squared, which is 25. So that's what's going to go in the blanks. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and solve what I can. So bringing this all down, I'm keeping that -3 here. And I'm going to go ahead and factor this. This is a perfect square. So that means I'm square rooting my 25. Square rooting my 25. So I'm going to have x minus 5 squared. Why is it -5? Because of that negative or the subtraction sign. Okay, I did the first part. Let me go ahead and do my last part. So this last part here is going to be that back end. I'm going to have plus 20 minus negative 75. I'm just going to go ahead and change that to a plus sign and solve. I'm going to have f of x equals negative 3 x minus 5 squared plus 95, and that's my answer. Okay, this entire thing is my answer, and then let's go ahead and find what we have to. So looking here, finding my a. What is my a? Good, it's negative 3. What's my vertex? In this one, it's going to be 5, yes, and then 95. We can also go ahead and find what's my axis of symmetry? X equals 5. Okay, x equals 5. What's my y-intercept? So let's see. Remember, ordered pairs. So yes, 20 is part of it. Good. Open parentheses 0, 20 because that's my C value.